Good morning, class. We have been studying about the fundamental rights. Up till now, in detail, we have studied about the right to equality, equality before law, equality of opportunity, abolition of titles, and abolition of untouchability. Then we learned about the right to freedom and the 6 basic rights which are given, or the 6 basic freedoms that an Indian citizen enjoys. And then we also learned about its limitations. Then we learnt about the protection in respect of conviction for offences, protection of life and personal liberty, protection against arrest and detention. And in previous class we learnt about right to information and Supreme Court declaration on right to privacy is a fundamental right. Now I also told you about preventive detention, when and how you can be detained from being a miscreant and harming the security of the nation or of an individual. Now today we are going to learn about right against exploitation, which is given in Article 23 and 24. This right upholds the dignity of the individual and prohibits exploitation in following respects. Upholds means holds the dignity is respect of the individual and stops somebody else from exploiting that particular person or any Indian national. Now 23A says that freedom from slavery, beggary or other forms of forced labor. That if a person is doing some work for somebody, then they will be paid for that particular according to the difficulty of the work, or whatever the rate which is applied at that moment will be paid to them. Or some people beforehand also fix a certain rate for a certain job. Nobody will be forced to beg or indulge in any other form of forced labor. It is your choice whether you want to do that work or not. If you don't want to, then the person has the right to say no, regardless of what his position in life. So you cannot be forced. Now trafficking in human beings means buying and selling of human beings is prohibited. Especially not just in India, all over the world, trafficking of women and girls, especially for immoral purposes, is rampant. Now it has been seen in poor countries, poor regions, that people who have a lot number of children and they are unable to take care of them, so they end up selling their children to couples means a husband or wife from urban cities who cannot, for some or the other reason, cannot have a child of their own. So this is also prohibited. Now Article 24. This article prohibits employment of children below the age of 14 years in factories, mines and other hazardous occupations. Now children, if you have heard about the city of Firozabad, it is known for its glasswork, the bangles and any form of glasswork. So over there you will find small factories, cottage industries kind of factories operating from small rooms, and over there you will find small children employed in that work. Now it is a hazardous job and there are no protective equipments or given to the workers, so that fine dust from the glass, it settles in their nostrils and their windpipe, and these people, they die at a very early age. So most of the children, because they come from poor families, they have not taken education and education was not given a priority, so they end up taking such jobs or are being forced by their parents to take up such jobs, or forced by circumstances. See, when a father who dies because of such hazardous environment at an early age, then what happens? Then the other children have to earn the living, so they have to leave their studies and then work to earn bread. Now you know that in India, every child, regardless of what caste, creed, religion, they have a right to education till 14 years of age. Now if you are studying in a government school, then your fees is negligible, or at the most you are not supposed to pay in government schools, you are not supposed to pay that fees till 14 years of age or till you reach let it be till you, for different people, you reach high school in a different age. So till the age of 14, education is free for all children. Now mind you, this is only in government schools, not in private institutions. Now the practice of bonded labor has also been declared unlawful. Bonded labor, where parents, they sign a bond, and in return for that, maybe they have taken some kind of a loan, so they send their children to work over there, or some other family keeps on working over there. So children, you must have seen in dhabas and in hotels and all, in small places, children washing dishes or serving. So or even this is prohibited under Article 24. Now, right to freedom of religion. Articles 25 to 28 indicate the following. Now see, in our school we have children coming from all faiths, all religion. Same goes for the teaching faculty and the other helpers who may make the day-to-day running of the school possible. Now let us see what it says. All persons are entitled to freedom of conscience and the right to freely profess, practice and propagate their religion. Freely profess, practice and propagate. You can even tell people about your religion, and nobody can come and harass you that because you belong to a certain religion. If this happens, then you have the right to go to any law agency and file a case against people who have been harassing you. Now, subject to public order, morality and health, every religious denomination or any section thereof shall have the right now to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. Temples, mosques, gurudwaras, churches, the money, the donation which comes to these places, the people utilize this money for charitable purposes or to help out people who are not so well off in their lives. Now, to manage its own affairs in matters of religion, the government will not interfere as to how a temple is to run, how a church is to run, or how a mosque or a gurudwara is to run. Nobody else can, except the managing board of that particular we can say religious place. Now, to own and acquire movable and immovable body. So any religious institution can have and will have movable and immovable. Movable meaning to say a building, land. Immovable, some means of commuting from one place to the other. To administer such property in accordance with law. So everything has to take place within the framework of the Indian Constitution. No religious institution can go against the rules and guidelines and principles mentioned in the Constitution. You cannot bring anybody down, you cannot harass anybody because they belong to a different religion. Now, no person shall be compelled to pay taxes for the promotion of a particular religion. Now, see, if you remember, when we were learning about the Mughal kingdom, then some Muslim rulers, they made it mandatory for their citizens to pay the jizya or the religious tax. So this is strictly prohibited in the Constitution. No religious instructions shall be provided in any institution wholly maintained out of state funds. Now, if a religious institution, or an institution which is being run with the help of the state or the government provides some kind of financial help to that institution, so over there will be no religious teachings as such. The studies of holy books and all will not be taken place. It will be wholly secular in nature. Even though religious instruction may be imparted in educational institutions recognized by or receiving funds from the state, no person attending such institutions shall be compelled to receive the religious instruction without the consent of himself or his guardian. Now, See, if you'll go to a Muslim school or a Christian school or a Sikh school, so you, whichever school you go to, you have value education classes. Now some schools, in value education classes, they have stories with a moral, and from there they teach the students to differentiate between the right and the wrong, and to follow such things. Now in certain schools, text from religious sacred books or religious books is being taught, but then that is not forced. Nobody can be forced. No Hindu child can be forced to learn anything from the Bible, or no Christian child can be forced to learn anything from the Guru Granth Sahib or any other religious text. Now children, this particular right is very important, right to freedom of religion. So please go through it once again. If there is something which you have not understood, right against exploitation also, there are times when you can raise your voice against any when you say any kind of, when you see child labor, this rule being exploited. Now there might be certain circumstances when if you raise your voice, then people will rise up against you. But then to bring a change is in your hands. We have been doing our bit, and you also, we request you also to do your bit in ending exploitation of any kind, whatever the nature, in, among and around you. So please go through it once again. If there is any problem, you can mark it down, and we will discuss it when the school reopens. Thank you.